Hello there everybody and welcome to a video review for the early access version of Xenonauts 2. I had the pleasure to play this a little bit before the release. Big thanks to the people who made that possible. I thoroughly enjoyed, and it is my pleasure now to give you guys a quick view about what this game has in store for you, and I'll do my best to give you a full overview about the entire game mechanics that are here. So, first off, what's Xenonauts 2? So if you never heard about it, it's basically a indie spin-off of the good old XCOM and UFO Enemy Unknown series. It's very much in the spirit of the 90s version, UFO Enemy Unknown, and if you liked games like these or the Firaxis version of XCOM, this game might be really something for you. As you see here, you have a lot of detailed mechanics about setting up your base, equipping your soldiers, doing research, building stuff, and overall fighting a war against aliens that have already pretty much won the war against the humanity. Or that's the first outlook there. I don't want to spoil you too much about the story. Your job is to destroy the alien menace from a covert operations standpoint, as far as I understood things. Your job is to keep the panic low in the countries, get yourself some funding from all those fine young gentlemen here, and build more bases, build more aircrafts, and just get that war back to these alien guys. The fun part here is that it follows a very well-known curve, but the cool part about this game is that you have a very deep and strategic build-up for every single part of this game. The downside there is the final result is this game is tough as nails. So if you find games generally in the turn-based combat section a little bit too hard for you, Xenonauts 2 will put you up to some test. Luckily, there are very forgiving difficulty levels, and you can always do the good old save scum method of loading and saving until you finally did the thing. So, that's the quick summary. Let's get on over all the wonderful parts, and I want to start and take you guys to the combat section because that's where a lot of the fun is at. So that's your typical combat situation. You see up here the soldiers you got, their weaponry that they have equipped currently, and everybody's armed with a lot of usables, grenades, demolition charges, and a lot of other goodies like medikits, and there's a lot of equipment variety for each and every soldier. There's a couple of default roles like sniper and rifleman, assault trooper with a shotgun, shield troops. This game tries to go for the military reality as good as it can. So you got here, as you see, a lot of typical play with cover and lines of sight, and this game takes things very seriously and offers you a very in-depth simulation of gunfire and tactical combat. And gotta say, it takes a while to get into this, but once you got into this, the beautiful part about this game is that you really feel like you earned your victory. So for example, this guy here is standing too close to the wall. He can't shoot up there, so you need to position yourself somewhere else. I've rarely seen games in this genre that took it so darn seriously with all the vision ranges and obstacles, but in a very good way. It feels strategic, it feels meaningful, and yeah, there's a learning curve involved. That's one issue about the combat there, for real. But the good part is you get to destroy everything. The entire environment here is interactable, destroyable. You got lots of explosives, you got lots of tools to play around with, and to summarize it real quick, you got time units, every action costs time units, and if you keep time units at the end of the turn, you get the opportunity to shoot the bad guys when they move across your line of fire. All these rules apply to the enemy as well, and that's where the fun's at. So the problem about this, and that's where the game's really hard, your soldiers are mere normal humans, and these guys are genetically modified killing machines. And while the game starts off quite easy, it ramps up very quickly into a difficulty level that shows you that these guys are really the superior species. and it's your job to show them that they're wrong. I really appreciate that this game doesn't hold your hand too much, but I want to point out here for real that you really got to take your time with this game to learn the ropes, to not do the bad mistakes, to learn how the cover system actually works, to appreciate where you can, or to figure out where you actually can hide yourself from. And there's tons of mistakes to make. So it's basically a game where the basic rule of thumb is you're going to die in many, many brutal and horrible scenarios, but you will always get the fair chance to learn something about your mistakes, and it really, really shines over the course of the time, and it feels damn good to just master those situations and finally know at some point how to deal with that and actually put them in, turn a really, really horribly hard situation into something very easy. You also have to care a lot about friendly fire. It's also a very, very pressing matter of urgency, and all in all, there's a lot of tactical realism, and if you take it slow and if you take the game serious, it really, really rewards you with lots of tools to play around with. And what I personally enjoyed so far most about this game, yes, it's really hard. It's really, really hard at times, but every part that you can use feels meaningful. Smoke grenades feel like a good tool. Frag grenades, of course, too. Even flashbangs are useful because they stop the enemy from being able to shoot at you while you're moving. Every little inch in this game is well thought through, and you really, really notice it. So let's head on over again to the strategic layer and talk about the character development things. The combat is its own can of worms and would deserve a really long video. I hope I was able to give you a quick impression here. Alright, let's go a little bit into detail why the strategy part, the management strategy part of this game is also really, really cool and fun. So base building has a couple of really cool mechanics going on for itself. So every building that you can put up here has adjacency bonuses. Basically, the more same building blocks you put together, the more bonuses they get and the better performance you achieve per part. That means specialized bases do matter so much. So the entire game is already focused around the question, what kind of bases do you want to build? Where do you want to build them? How are you going to defend them? Which part is important for you first? Engineering, researching, what will it be? So there's a lot of meaningful decision making here, and while it is a simple mechanic, this adjacency bonus is really a simple thing, but it is very, very impactful and will lead to decisions that you ought to make. The research panel, the cool part about this game is that you're no longer forced to do boring researches like the autopsies of the aliens here. They come automatically. You don't need to spend lab time for that. So basically lore and fluff things you get automatically unlocked. But there's a couple of other projects in there that unlock new content, just like we're used to in games like these. I really appreciate the fact that some things you just get explained without pumping meaningful research time in there. That means there's always something interesting to read after your missions. It's not like you have to wait always until the research churns out something interesting. I really enjoyed that because this keeps up the pace of storytelling in a very, very nice way. Engineering, well, you have to build every single darn piece of equipment for your dudes, be it a piece of armor, be it a mobile autonomous combat robot, or every single little gun that's more advanced than a ballistic gun. I really like that because that again means you have meaningful decisions, you have resources to work with, and most importantly, at this point, you will notice that money is really not around in an amount that would be to your own liking. And in other words, you will be constantly broke. Soldiers have a very cool development system. It's very simple but meaningful. So let's go on over here into the armory. And your heroes now, your soldiers, have stats, and these stats are very well explained, and most importantly, they become better at everything by doing it. So accuracy becomes better by shooting, strength becomes better by exceeding or bringing your carry weight to its limits, and bravery gets better by being shot at, and therefore your soldiers will become better by doing what they're doing. And you also have the opportunity to min-max your training in certain ways, if you're able to keep them alive, that is, which isn't that easy as it sounds. They also gain medals for all their different achievements, which give them a little bit of extra goodies on their attributes. So, gear is heavy, gear is meaningful, and every little piece of equipment that you carry around does impact your carry weight, and therefore you can optimize the gear of each and every one of your dudes here even deeper, because the more carry weight they have closer to their maximum, the stronger they get. Oh boy, you can optimize so much here. Soldiers also become better, as well, like I said, and therefore it is worth the investment. You can recruit them, again for money, and we of course also have a rudimentary trade system. Basically, the loot we got can be transformed into money by selling it to other people. There's also an air combat system. Your aircrafts have weapons, and you have to shoot out the UFOs out of the sky. While I was recording this, that element of the game wasn't fully fleshed out in the early access yet, so I cannot showcase that right now, but I will do once the game allows me to. So, and that is pretty much what you get when you buy this game. You get really, really cool different strategic missions with different goals, and sometimes there's time pressure, sometimes you can just take it slow. And all in all, I really enjoyed myself with this game, but it is really something where you need some frustration tolerance, because you get punished for your mistakes very, very severely, and it's up to you to learn out of that. So whenever you get defeated, you have to think about, what kind of options can I bring up? What kind of weapons could I have built? Should I have eventually brought somebody as a tank to just soak up those shots? Whatever. There are so many tools to resolve your problems, but problems, this game has thousands for you. And that's a pretty cool thing. So it keeps you on your toes, and it's pretty cool for people who are experienced in the genre and like a challenge. But I wouldn't recommend this game so much to a total rookie in the genre, because it might be a little bit demanding. But at the end of the day, you can always play on the lowest difficulty level for the story. Which brings me to another point. Storytelling and atmosphere, music is really, really awesome. The only thing that's not on a top-notch position is the graphics department. I personally find it a little bit bare bones, a little bit, well, pragmatic, but there's nothing wrong with the style, you know. It's just a graphic style decision where I personally, well, it's not my favorite, but it is absolutely functional. And apart from that, it's really the only part where I felt like, yeah, graphics could have been a little bit better. But everything else, especially the sound department, is very, very cool. The soundtrack has a gloomy and enthralling vibe to it. And yeah, if you like games like these, if you enjoyed XCOM, if you like tactical shooters with some challenge, games like Battle Brothers and stuff like that, give this one a chance. It's really, really good at what it does, albeit a little bit unforgiving. So thanks for your time and attention. Leave me your comments down below. Let me know what you think about this game, and a thumbs up or a subscription would be, of course, wildly appreciated. Either way, thanks again for your time, and have a wonderful day.